morning and welcome to Unity of the Valley. We're going to start by playing a little rewrite of Kumbaya to All Is Well. The lyrics will be up on the board. All is well now, all is well. Please join me. All is well now, all is well, all is well now, all is well, deep within me, all is well. All is well now, all is well, all is well now, all is well, all is well now, all is deep within me, all is well. Deep within me, all is well. Deep within me, all is well.
Good morning. And let's hold that truth in our hearts and in our minds, that in this moment, all is well. In this very moment where we are, God is. Where we are, the infinite love, wisdom, power, presence, and life of God is. We open to this power and presence. We allow ourselves to be filled with the presence of God. We say yes to the call that we express, the beauty, love, and power of God, the light of God in all circumstances. And we see God's strength, comfort, and possibilities available to us and to all people. And for all of this now we say thank you. Thank you, God. Amen.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity of the Valley Spiritual Center here in sunny, allergy-ridden Vacaville, California. We're happy to see you here in our pews, and if you're here for the first time, please join us after the service in our social hall for some light refreshments. And if you're joining us from home, we welcome you too. We're all suffering together in person, and we welcome you to do so next week and enjoy all the beauty that spring has been bringing forth to us, although there is a price to pay with antihistamines. So we welcome that as we welcome all the beauty that spring brings. So each and every Sunday, we'd like to kick off our Sunday service by having a child come forward and light the Christ candle. And this morning, it's going to be Danica. I wasn't sure, saw a lot of children, so I wasn't sure if we were just having one or a bunch. And it doesn't matter because Danica is representing all the children this morning, and through an extension of all the children, all of us. And she's letting us know that that light shines deep within each and every one of us, every moment of every day. But sometimes those of us who are a little bit older need a conscious reminder, a conscious kick to say, hey, you're just like they are. And we can be as little children. Now we're going to invite all the other children up to the platform. And I guess we're giving them all their special blessings. So to these three beautiful children, join me with the words up on the board. You are beautiful children of God, perfect in every way. You are loved unconditionally, just the way you are. Now let's give ourselves that same blessing. I am a beautiful child of God, perfect in every way. I am loved unconditionally, just the way I am. And you get your own special blessing. You get your own special song, too. Everybody?
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine.
Now go have fun in your classes and get more wisdom to come back to share with us. We have a musician today named John Shin. John's been with us many times before. Somebody said, do you need John's bio? And I said, no, John's like a piece of furniture now here at Unity of the Valley. He's here so often. But John's been performing for over 30 years with original and cover songs, and we're happy to have you back, John. Thank you so much. And Reverend Dalia Adams is here to give our talk today about space between our thoughts, which I really need because I have no space between my thoughts. It's just thought, 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 thought. So I'm really looking forward to today's lecture, and I hope you are too. Our prayer chaplains are here each and every Sunday, and they're standing up right now. And our prayer chaplains are here to support your spiritual journey and to listen in true confidence. Any concerns that may be weighing heavy on your heart or joy you'd like to celebrate, please seek them out after the service. We have a few announcements. We have a lot going on here at Unity of the Valley. Our mindfulness meditation class continues. Even though it began on May 11th, it continues, and you can still join. It's going to be held via Zoom. So look for the Zoom link on our weekly announcements that you should be getting in your inbox, or you can contact the office. Mysteries of John by Charles Fillmore it began on May 18th, again on Zoom. You can still join. All you need, they're using a book called, what's it called? Charles Fillmore's book on the Mysteries of John. I think it's called The Mysteries of John. Wow, what a great name for the class then. And they'll also be using the Bible as well. And then we're going to be hosting, led by our own senior Reverend Dalia Adams, Conscious Aging, okay, for Older Americans Month. It's observed every May. Now, there's no definition on what qualifies you as an older American, is there? So a 20-year-old could attend this workshop, right? You know how to age. A 2-year-old can go. So all that we ask, it's an introspective, interactive, and informative presentation on conscious aging. And if you have no idea what that means, you need to show up. And all that we ask is that you bring a dish to share. And then we're getting ready to celebrate Pride Month, and there's going to be Pride Day, June 3rd at Andrews Park from 12 to 4, and we're going to be hosting a booth or a table there. So if you're interested in helping us volunteer and celebrate that event, please contact Maisie Hughes, or you can just contact our office. All right, now the real reason we're all here is our statement of faith. And so our statement of faith really is kind of almost the whole church service. It sets the mood for the message we're about to receive and opens us up to the living truth of God. So if you'd repeat with me together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good. And now John's going to lead us in spirit.
It's a little tune that came in the space between thoughts one day. I am spirit, yes I am. I am one with everything. I am present with the past, all that is and yet to be. I am spirit. I am spirit. I am purpose, yes I am, in tune with the source of all, in alignment with the plan, answering the bugle's call. I am purpose, I am purpose. I am peaceful, yes I am. I see God in everything, guiding to the perfect plan, bringing me my songs to sing. I am purpose, I am peaceful. I am love, yes I am, opening my heart to sing harmony throughout the land, wisdom, hope, and joy I bring. I am love, I am purpose, I am peace, I am spirit.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Music has a way of bringing us to the heart of what is true, at least for me, in ways that words never quite match. So that was beautiful. Today, well, this year, 2023, we keep coming back to the question, how shall we live? Last year, we kept coming back to the truth that we are children of God, that we are one with God, that spark of the divine is always within us and expresses as us. And we ended with the year with the question, if we wake up in the morning and we look in the mirror and we see a child of God, if we recognize the truth that our image right there is God expressing, if we are children of God, if I am a child of God, what do I do with my day? I mean, do I live any differently? You know, do I pause more often to notice this? Or do I let it get lost in the jumble, right? So this year we're looking at, if we know who we are, how shall we live? And today I want to talk about the space between our thoughts. We've been talking about perceptions, and perceptions really are the beginning of thinking. From our perceptions, we create stories, we create inner dialogues, we solve problems, or we pause to appreciate things. So we're moving on from just perceptions to our thoughts, and I think the most important thing about our thoughts is the space between our thoughts. There are musicians in this room, and I think you would all agree that the moments of silence are as necessary as every tone that we hear. In the same way, the silence between our thoughts is just as, and for me, probably much more important than the thinking through which we create, solve, connect, and do all the wonderful things we can do. There was a time many, many years ago where we were in a spiritual class and reading some book, and I don't even remember what the book was, and then we had a discussion, and the author described God as the vast emptiness. And I was horrified. I didn't want my God to be reduced to emptiness, right? And what that means, what that phrase means, it's out of the void that everything is created. Everything that was ever created or made came out of the void, and the void is that space of infinite possibilities. Physicists understand this. I remember also learning this in college in physics, this type of idea. But since that day that I was horrified that someone would dare to describe God as emptiness, I think spaciousness has become one of my most powerful experiences of God. In unity, we say God is the one power and one presence. And when I'm able to touch the experience of that presence, it's always a spaciousness. God is, in that experience, never contained in any kind of box. So that sense of presence for me fills the universe. And I would get lost. This is another talk, so I'm not going to go there, but just the idea that when I say space, it's not just a place where everything stops. It's the place in which we find God, or at least where I find God. And there are others who have described it that way. And so when I say the space between our thoughts, I have many, many layers of meaning personally that go with that. In unity, we have basic principles. There are 5 that unity members, unity children learn. And the third basic principle, and all of our principles can be expressed with different words. I mean, there's not one hard, fast way of saying it that we have to memorize. But some of the ways our third basic principle is expressed is that our thoughts have a creative power. Our thoughts create our reality, or we co-create our reality with our thoughts. What we think about increases. I'm sure that if you've been in unity any length of time, you've heard these teachings over and over and in different ways. And they're powerful teachings because that tells us that we're not victims of what happens in our world. We have the power to create our reality. Sometimes things happen that are painful and difficult, but we always have that potential of rising again, that possibility of healing or correcting or changing the direction that we were going. And all of that involves our thinking. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, wrote that thought force is a great and mighty power. He was talking about the same creative possibility that exists in each of our thoughts. He also wrote that thinking is your creative center. In and through this one power, you establish your consciousness and you build your world. It is out of our consciousness that we create our lives, and we establish our consciousness through our thinking. Or at least our thinking has a big role in establishing our consciousness. I'm not getting the PowerPoint to move. If you could help me. Okay. So holding all that is true, there was a modern day spiritual teacher whose book we read, and his name's Michael Singer. The book is Untethered Soul, and the book was about the voices in our head. The voices in our head are the monologues and dialogues that go on. That's a big part of our thinking. And Michael Singer wrote, in case you haven't noticed, you have a mental dialogue going on inside your head that never stops. It just keeps going and going and going and going, kind of like a bunny that we see on TV often, right? Has everybody experienced this dialogue and or monologue? If you have, okay. All you have to do is pay attention for 60 seconds and it'll be there, right? Again, now keep in mind our unity principle that our thoughts are powerful and they're creative. And there's monologues, dialogues going on round and round and round in our head, right? Michael Singer wrote in a different place, if you're willing to be objective and watch all your thoughts, you will see that the vast majority of them have no relevance. True? Okay, so are you seeing the dichotomy I'm building? This vast creative power, and we spend most of our thinking energy with things that are irrelevant, right? Getting a little stronger, and I apologize to the weak-hearted who are offended by words that possibly shouldn't be used, but I couldn't resist. Dan Harris is a news reporter, or I don't know if he still is, but he was on ABC many, many years. Good Morning America was one of the shows that he was a part of. He wrote a book called 10% Happier. And he wrote this book after he discovered a meditation practice and went pretty much from being aspiritual to being a dedicated meditation practitioner. And in that process, he discovered the voice in his head, much the way Michael Singer did. And when he wrote the book, he wanted to title the book, The Voice in My Head is blankety blank blank, but the publishers wouldn't let him use that title. So fill in that blank with whatever offensive word you think he might have been using, and it's good enough, right? So instead, he titled the book 10% Happier. But he went on to write, the voice in my head often runs amok. Anybody ever have that experience where I had that experience this morning. I sat down to meditate, and I wonder if I should have put this other slide in my talk today. And I'm there, dagnab, I always forget something. And then I was thinking, oh my gosh, what did I forget? Oh, I forgot the dog biscuits I was going to get for Sachi, my dog. And 10 minutes of my meditation had gone by before I realized my head's going amok, right? And then I remembered that the title of my talk is The Space Between Your Thoughts. So I took a breath, and I just noticed the breath. I felt the breath relieving all this tension that was building up from the hard mental work I was doing. And I took another breath, and I just stayed with the breath. I stayed with the spaces between the breath. And everything shifted. I touched within myself that divine presence, even if just for a few moments. Get the difference between the two types of thinking that happen? In Buddhism, they call this way of thinking, that monologue, the thinking going amok, monkey mind. And monkey mind means a mind or thinking that is unsettled, restless, whimsical, confused, indecisive, uncontrollable, and the list goes on. I just picked a few explanations of what it means. And what I always was taught or read was that it comes from the image of monkeys swinging from tree branches, going from one branch to another tree, to another branch, and then back again, back and forth, not staying in one place. However, I recently read a story of another explanation of monkey mind. I don't know the origin of the story. I don't know if it has a stamp of approval in Buddhism, but I love this story, so I'll share it. And the story is of a spiritual seeker, a student, and his teacher, the master. And the master was teaching the students to meditate, to stop, to still their thoughts, and the student just couldn't get it. He goes, no matter how hard I try, I can't meditate. I can't calm my mind. I can't settle in. So I can't do this. And the master encouraged him to continue trying, and the student comes back and says, I can't do this. He goes, I don't know what to do. And so the master said, well, let me tell you a story. There was a young man, also a spiritual seeker, and he had a master, a teacher, and he was working with his master, and he felt stuck, and his master gave him a magic monkey to help him through his life, to help him deal with the situations. And this magic monkey could do just about anything. And all the student had to do was tell the monkey, tell him what his heart's desire was, and this monkey could do it. The student said, I would like to have a small home that's all my own. And the monkey got busy, got all the materials and all the help that was needed, and built him a small house. And then the student said, well, now I'm hungry, I'd like to have dinner. And the monkey got busy and made a beautiful meal, and the student got the dinner that he wanted. And the student looked at this small, modest house that the monkey had built, and he looked at the monkey, he said, I want to have a palace. I want to have a big, luxurious house. And the monkey got busy, and he built this student a palace. But the problem was this monkey never stopped. And in between the projects, the monkey would be talking to the student. He goes, what do you want me to do next? What do you want? What should I do? What should I build? What should I create? What is it that's on your mind? And the student could get no peace because this monkey just didn't let go. And when the student wanted to go to sleep, the monkey was right there. I could do another house for you tomorrow, or maybe we could go to another country and and the student couldn't sleep. So the student goes back to the master. He goes, he's creating wonderful things for me, but he won't leave me alone. And I can't rest, I can't sleep, I get no peace. How do I make him stop? And the master says, you cannot ever make him stop. He is incapable of stopping. And so the student says, so what do I do? And the master gave him a little hair that was a curly hair. He said, give this to the monkey and tell him to straighten the hair. So the monkey was sitting there, he got the hair and he straightened the curly hair, he got it straight, he let go and it curled up again. So he straightened the hair again, he let it go, and it curled up again. And the monkey became very quiet. The student was no longer bothered. It was only when the student said, I would like you to make me something else, that the monkey got busy and created what was asking to be created. But in between times, that monkey would straighten the curly hair. He'd let go, it would curl up again, so the monkey would get busy straightening the curly hair. The same with our minds. When we train our minds, we cannot stop our thinking. In fact, if I asked all of you to spend the next 2 minutes stopping your thinking, if you were saying to yourself, stop, 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 nothing happens. But in meditation practice, one of the ways we can go into meditation is by putting our attention on the breath, creating that space between the thoughts, the I gotta do, I gotta finish, I gotta fix, oh, why did I ever do that? You know, that monkey mind. We can get that to pause by giving our mind something else to focus on. And in meditation, it can be a candle flame. It can be our breath. For me, a walk on the beach and the sound of the waves gives my mind exactly what it needs to calm, to become not empty, not completely devoid of thought, but just like that little monkey, focused on that one thing that has a calming and easing effect and that allows that experience of the divine to enter into our consciousness. So that's the other story of monkey mind. So to create these spaces, we find that thing that allows our mind to just follow the sound of the waves, our breath, something we're looking at, a mantra, a melody sometimes that repeats in our minds. And that creates that space for God. One of our ancient spiritual teachers, no, not ancient, but just early 20th century, a Bible scholar, described prayer and meditation as setting a trap for God. Because God always is wherever we are when we become still enough to have those spaces between our thoughts, that experience of God can rush in. Deepak Chopra wrote that the silent gap between your thoughts is your window to the cosmic mind. Charles Fillmore wrote something very similar. In the silence, Spirit speaks truth to us. Not just truth, but Spirit speaks love to us. Spirit speaks peace to us. Spirit speaks possibilities to us. In our meditation class, we were processing after a time of meditation. One of the people in the class said that he was focusing on the space between the breaths and that there was a very deep peace that came in that space. And that's the presence of God. Charles Fillmore wrote about our thinking, and he said, I am in authority. I say to this thought, go, and it goes. And I say to another, come, and it comes. And this is based on the story in the Bible where the Roman soldier came to Jesus and asked for healing for his son. And he said, you don't even need to go and be with my son. Just say the word, because you have that power. I have that power with my soldiers. I say to one soldier, come, and he comes. I say to another soldier, go, and he goes. And so he was alluding to that power, and Charles was borrowing from that concept when he wrote about our thoughts. Well, I don't know about you, but when I'm in monkey mind mode and I tell a thought to go, nothing happens, it just stays there. Or if I'm in monkey mind mode and I want to think about something, it gets crowded out by the monkey mind stuff, right? But if I come from that place of inner authority, and I find that inner authority in that space between thoughts and that space between each breath, if I come from that inner authority, then I can really summon a thought that I want to contemplate on. Or I can tell another thought, not now. Okay? Right now, I am allowing the space between my thoughts to be that creative power that always moves through me. And John Shin said to us that the song he wrote came from that space. Jack Cornfield was talking with a group of other authors and teachers, and they all agreed that the teachings that they had, the books that they wrote, were not original material. It was what came as an inspiration in that space, in that silence, in that experience of infinite possibilities. Thich Nhat Hanh, another great spiritual teacher, wrote, do your thoughts support your true intention in life? If not, you need to push the reset button. Okay? And for me, the reset button is pausing long enough to allow that space, pausing long enough to remember the presence, the one presence, the one power, pausing long enough to let God in. God's always there, but in that pause, in that space, we become conscious of that presence. And then what do we say with God? Anything is possible, or there are infinite possibilities. With monkey mind, there aren't very many possibilities. Right? Thich Nhat Hanh also wrote, you have a choice. Let me repeat that. You have a choice. Your thoughts can make you and the world around you suffer more or suffer less. And so, in the space between our thoughts, we make room for our awareness of God's presence. We make room for God. And so it is.
On the wall of the meditation chapel in Unity Village, there are 3 words. And I believe they create that space. Be still. Peace, 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 be still.
So now we go deeper into our time of meditation. I invite you to sit comfortably, release any tension that your body might be holding, and allow your breath to find its own easy and natural rhythm. And then gently, very gently, resting your attention on the movement of your breath. Notice how your breath feels when you breathe in and when you breathe out. You might notice the way your breath moves through your nose, how the breath is warmer when you breathe out and cooler when you breathe in. Or you may notice a tickle at the back of your throat with each breath that you take. Or you might want to rest your attention on the movement of your belly as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Gently notice the breath. And when your mind wanders, because it will, let there be no judgment, no criticism. Just bring your attention back to the breath. And notice how it feels when you breathe in and when you breathe out. Notice the space between the breaths. The space between breathing in and breathing out. Gently rest your attention on the space between your breaths, and you may notice how that space welcomes the presence of God. How that space welcomes the love that is God. Always returning your attention to how your breath feels when you breathe in and when you breathe out. Resting your attention on the space between your breaths. And for a little while in this silence, rest your attention on the spaciousness that is God. I breathe and I awaken to the presence of God. Holding that affirmation in your mind and in your heart, gently and easily bring your attention back to this room, back to this time, back to this place. When you're ready, open your eyes and feel that presence of God shining through you like the most amazing light. Look around and see that light of God shining on each and every face, and know that that light is shining through you in this moment. And then join with me in saying thank you. Thank you, God. Amen.
Peace, be still.
Thank you, Reverend Dalia. It worked. I have no thoughts. Our ushers are coming forward, and it's that time of our service where we talk about giving. And we have so many easy ways to give. You can give by texting or by going onto our website and just clicking on the donate button. What works easiest for the church is if people would set up like a recurring payment system that can come from your credit card, where you can earn reward points, or directly from your bank account. However you choose to give, we know that you're giving in love and giving generously. And so in that generous love, we'd like to give this blessing to our tithes and offerings. Together, God's love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, all that I give and receive. I am grateful.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Join me if you will. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And that song is the perfect affirmation of divine substance, but we also have an affirmation of divine substance. Maybe we could just sing the song again, and that would be our affirmation. Let's do that.
Sure.
Let's do something different.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We know that all of our needs are met even before we can express them. And so now if you would stand, and if we have enough people to form a circle and join hands, if you're comfortable joining hands. And if you're not, just keep your hands at your side. And we'll close by singing the peace song. Okay, I'll watch your works too.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us.
The
presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. We are one holy family. We celebrate our oneness and honor our diversity. And please join me in our closing affirmation. I invite you to hold this affirmation in your mind and in your heart throughout the week. Together, I find God in the space between my thoughts, and so it is. Now take time to love each other, look into each other's eyes, see the Christ shining, hug each other, dance with each other, genuflect before each other, whatever moves you in the moment, and so it is.